Mm-hmm.
I also think that sometimes, there's a partner who is experiencing depression, and so they're pretty cut off and they're having
Yeah.
a hard time. They're sometimes maybe they're irritable or sometimes they're down and not really interested. And it's not that they're not interested in the partner, it's really the depression that's
Mm-hmm.
talking and that's in the way.
Yeah, depression is a very like self-focused state. Um, you're down on yourself, but you're mostly thinking about yourself in a
Mhm.
sense. Like you just don't really have the bandwidth to be tracking and caring deeply about other people when you're stuck in that. And so it can be pretty isolating in that way and disconnecting.
Yes. And so with some couples, it's really treating the depression that can help get some traction in the relationship. That once that
Yeah.
clears up and gets dealt with, then the person experiencing depression has more capacity to show up and more energy and more interest because that
Hmm.
anhedonia is now maybe gone away or at least lessened. And then the other partner is also has their partner showing up so that's more of a person to connect with. There's someone who's really there and not in their head so much.
Hmm. So is this one of the factors in the couple you're thinking about?
I think it's a complex situation, but I do think that plays into it. In fact, I only work with the husband, but from what I gather, and he has depression, but I think I'm imagining his partner, from what he's saying, also does have depression. But they
Hmm.
also have their own difficult backgrounds that impact the desire for connection and the willingness
Hmm.
as well. If you've
Yeah.
really burned or really hurt, or you're actually taught, you might learn as a kid, I think they did, to not look for connection, but to look for approval or to back away and give your parents space and don't be a burden.
Hmm. Or to do everything on your parents' terms. I mean, this person, since the way he operates now in an attachment relationship is that he does things on the other person's terms, or at least that's how he's thinking about what he does. It's likely that that's how it worked for him in childhood too, that he had a parent where to stay connected, he needed to not really take a stand for what he wanted. He needed to not have too much personality or, just go along with the way the parent wanted it to go. And that was the cost of being connected.
Yeah, what I'm thinking more, I think that's true for certain clients. What I think more with this client is I actually think there are a lot of things on his terms. And it
Hmm.
goes back to what you're saying, Catherine, that he's actually in a similar position as his wife of I mean, he's saying he wants connection, but actually he doesn't really want to do what he would need to, which involves him putting himself out there and also cleaning up his side of the street more in the relationship for how he handles conflict and how he handles disagreements.
Yeah.
It isn't a good, doesn't isn't going well for him.
Hmm. And the other thing I'm thinking, because you brought up some depression being part of this, is depression's multifaceted, and there's a lot of things that could contribute to it and a lot of ways to address it. But there's also like the way you're living your life. Is it depressive? Is it depressing? And
Uh-huh.
when you're living your life, you're a full adult with options, but you're living as if you don't have options, as if somebody else makes your decisions for you. That's a very depressive way to be living. So he's not going to feel happy and energized while he's living that way. Like there's a way he's relating to his own choices that is going to reinforce the depression.
And I think he might choose that, and many others, not him, only because he does know it. And at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I think it's harder for him to feel at fault or to have made a wrong decision than for him to have taken some risk and done something differently.
Hmm.
I think that really sparing himself of sort of like this is not he's sort of putting it off of himself. I think that idea of I don't want to be blamed also really drives this.